What's up, Panda dudes? Peter from Panda here. Hey, bought myself a watch, picked it up on Amazon just because I thought it was cool. I've had Curren watches before and been pretty impressed with, you know, how decent they are for how cheap they are. I should say inexpensive, because they're inexpensive, but they've been pretty decent watches. So I guess cheap implies poor construction and all that, but you know, you can't expect the world from these, but I'm pretty impressed with how clever and detailed they are. Like here on the silicone band, they have Curren on the side with the red C, which is kind of their logo. Now this one has like a gold tone to everything that's metal almost. Curren logo on there. Even the buckle's decently high quality, kind of thicker cast material. You can see there like a little BlizzTech tire tread pattern on the inside. Now this is kind of common to see that the silicone isn't punched out completely through the holes. It's really easy to do with the little buckle, but again, Curren on both ends here. And I just thought the face of the watch was pretty interesting looking, right? I mean, look at that. It's really detailed. And I'll be honest, that's what struck me about it. Kind of this blue and gold. So if you're a U of M fan, this is probably your thing. Go Big Ten, Northwestern. But look how the gold plating, you know, and I'm not going to call it real gold because this is very inexpensive, but I mean, it's very, you know, bright traditional gold, and obviously like a polished finish. You know, the case is pretty nice. Has a little bit of a Tag Heuer look. I'll kind of talk about the size, which is not very Tag Heuer-ish. It's pretty big. And then this, you know, the blue bezel, which is really cool looking. Tachymeter on the outside, and all those white numbers are actually etched in there and color filled. So it's a cool way to do a tachymeter. Adds a lot of dial to that bezel. And then you have a crystal here, assuming mineral, glass, something like that. But it's this blue, this kind of anodized metallic blue, and this gold that really kind of gives it a cool look. Now I will say that this dial is pretty cool too. It's kind of got a perforated screen type of look to it, and it looks great. And then you have the subdials there, which are set below kind of that blue. It's a kind of a navy blue, royal blue. You kind of have more of this blue gray, the perforated dial textured part, and then below it you have kind of more of this navy blue, a darker blue, and the subdials. Now these subdials, and you can probably see there that those hands on it are just part of the dial. They're all just for show, and that's because this movement is basically just a time movement. If we pull out this little spacer here, we can probably prove that to you. So you can see the crown there has some knurling on the side. You do have some pushers which give it a chronograph look, and now we can see that that quartz movement's taken off. But these pushers don't even move. They don't do anything. There is no chronograph on there. You see the Curren logo, which says chronometer. Chronometer? Well, if it's a quartz movement, it's probably pretty accurate. But these are all for show. Big Arabic numerals. I like the modern font style there. A deep angled bezel inside with minute markings and little pips at the hour. But man, kind of a cool looking. Right, if this had more features on it, if this were all, you know, working subdials and maybe an automatic movement or even just a quartz chronograph movement, you know, this would probably be a $300 watch. But as it is, it's much, much cheaper than that, a fraction of that. And I think you get a lot of style. Now, let's going to talk about the size, because that's going to be a big factor for a lot of people. I wear about a 7-ish. Oops, see? Now, there's the problem of not having those holes punched out, so I'm actually going to punch them out. Giveaway. So we're going to punch all the way through there. It's not hard to do it. I think it looks great. So 7.5, you know, 7.5 inch wrist is what I typically wear, but this would be a watch I would absolutely wear. Now, it is pretty big, it's pretty bold, but I love that. So, and man, it just looks good. This definitely looks much better than, you know, a lot of watches at this price point. You know, a lot of them just have a flat dial. The fact that this has kind of a multi-level dial is really kind of unique, but man, the colors just look great. Now, the key here is that it's big. Not so big for me, but pretty big. And so if I, you know, roll out the calipers here, and we just look at the case, you can see here, 47 millimeter case. So, you know, big. For a lot of people, they're going to say that's too big. For me, I think that's a great size. I love 47 millimeters. But it's not only is it generally a larger watch, you know, on the larger end, but it's also got a lot of bling to it. So you've got to understand that on both axes here, it's going to be kind of a look at me watch. One thing I am noticing is that the lugs don't really, you know, angle down much. So if you have a small wrist, you're going to get a little daylight under there. It's not such a big deal on my wrist, as you can see, and because the band kind of meshes up against the case, you can't really see that there's maybe space under there, but you know, you're going to get a little bit of separation. But I think it looks good. Even that Curren logo, it's kind of cool. I mean, it shows more that they're manufacturing their own band or having them made, you know, for their watches and their brand, and taking a little pride in that, as opposed to just slapping on a generic silicone band that they get. You can see here the band really is molded to kind of drop straight down, but I think good looking. Anyway, if you want this, I'll put a link to it in the description so that you can go and buy this. It's not that expensive. They come in a handful of other color options in this style, so I'm pretty impressed with it. Peter Von Panda out.